Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen across our beautiful country of Canada, our friends around the world in the known and unknown universe. Welcome back to Favorite Angry Canadian on the 10th day of February 2024. And I'm going to continue exposing the Canadian Liberal government and especially a focus on Chrystia that I don't even know what the hell to call her. She's far from honest. And yet, they call her right honorable. I mean, this woman will look Canadians in the eye and lie to them without hesitation. That is my opinion. Maybe she doesn't think she's lying. She's just, creating an alternative view or alternative fact. Because, today we can all have our own facts. And my fact is they gotta be taken away. You gotta take them away. You gotta take them away. Starting with Trudeau. But again, I keep saying conservatives will be no better. Pay attention.
What kind of fuckery is this?
And I'm here to announce that we are providing further support. The federal government is investing $143 million through the Interim Housing Assistance Program to help Toronto provide housing for asylum seekers.
What kind of fuckery is this?
Well, I don't agree that they're asylum seekers. I've said that already. They're economic migrants. They want a better future for themselves and their kids, and then eventually their whole families. I mean, it's understandable, but just because it's understandable doesn't mean that Canada has to capitulate and pay hundreds of millions of dollars to support economic migrants. That's it. And the reason she can get away with saying this, and the reason her friggin' political party stands with Freeland and Trudeau, is again, follow the money. They just had a retreat, came out looking united, and why the hell not when you're getting a raise?
Whoa, it's getting cold here in Ottawa, so members of Parliament are getting ready to shove their hands deeper into your pocket. On April 1, MPs are going to give themselves another raise, and the Canadian Taxpayers Federation crunched the numbers, and the raise will range between an extra $8,100 for a backbench member of Parliament, all the way up to an extra $16,200 for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So after the April 1 pay raise, a backbencher, along with collecting dust, will collect a salary of about $202,000. A minister will take home just shy of $300,000, and the Prime Minister, well, Mr. Trudeau's annual salary will be about $405,000 smackers. Now, folks, that's only the beginning of it, because they're giving themselves a pay raise every single year. In fact, since the beginning of 2020, they've given themselves 5 pay raises. So, pandemic happens, Canadian struggles, so many people in the private sector lost their job, took pay cuts, maybe even lost their small business. That didn't matter, didn't stop the pay raises they gave themselves. Today, so many families struggling with the price of hamburger meat, struggling with the rising mortgage payments. They don't seem to care. They're about to give themselves another pay raise. And one more issue here, folks. On the very same day that they stuff their wallets with bigger pay, they're reaching deeper into your wallets with a carbon tax and alcohol tax hike. Well, folks, the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, we're going to fight this pay raise tooth and nail, and you can join the fight as well by going to taxpayer.com and signing the petition to stop the MP pay raise.
Yes, they are getting a pay raise April 1st. Just like we're going to get a carbon tax April 1st. I don't really give a shit about how much money a politician earns or anything like that, as long as they're fucking doing their job. But when they don't do the job and all they do is dump on the citizens they're supposed to represent, then I get really pissed off. Shit, man. Now the big thing has to be that the government is going to appeal the judge's or court's decision about the Emergencies Act. Who is going to pay for all the court proceedings? How long is it going to take? How many lawyers are going to be planning their bonuses and winter getaways because the government is coming with a check for them? Check for them. This is absolutely bullshit. They should just lick their friggin' wounds, apologize to all Canadians, and make sure nothing like that shit ever happens again.
So we are aware of the court decision. We have discussed it with the Prime Minister, with cabinet colleagues, with senior federal government officials and experts. We respect very much Canada's independent judiciary.
Bullshit.
However, we do not agree with this decision, and respectfully, we will be appealing it. I would just
Pay for it out of
like
your
to
own
take
pocket,
a moment
biatch.
to remind Canadians of how serious the situation was in our country.
Do tell.
when
Do
we took
tell.
that
Were
decision.
you shitting in your undies?
The public safety
Trudeau
of
disappeared.
Canadians was under threat. Our national
Right.
security, which includes our national economic security, was under threat.
I am so proud of the Canadians that were out by the side of the road, on bridges, coast to coast, celebrating that we need freedom. Shithead Trudeau and Freeland. Yeah, I'm calling names now because I'm really pissed off that it's been years now. It's 24. And we're not even doing investigations, really strong investigations as to what happened with this vaccine and virus. We gotta know that, because it's gonna happen again. They're all predicting that there's gonna be another virus coming, and this time it's gonna mean business. You're seeing the farmers in Europe do this. Our media doesn't show it. Why? Because they're in the pocket of Trudeau and the Liberals, along with all the elite gazillionaires. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a conservative.
The nation's free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Freedom!
As a protest convoy arrives in Ottawa, many have raised concerns about people with extreme views that have attached themselves to that protest and have very little to do with truckers. Let's go beyond the headlines and take a look at what's fueling the movement and whether the message has gone off track.
I would have liked, all along, to have the Prime Minister come forward and accept some responsibility and to apologize to Canadians for what happened.
You can't trust our government or political system. Talking about governments, here comes the little butthead.
Over the past many months and years now, Canadians have stepped up to protect each other, to protect our frontline workers, to protect our elders, to protect our young people, to protect people like truckers who are putting food on our grocery store shelves. Canadians have stepped up to do the right thing to protect the freedoms and the rights of Canadians to get back to the things we love to do. We know the way through this pandemic is by getting everyone vaccinated. And the overwhelming majority, close to 90% of Canadians have done exactly that. The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
Sudden death among healthy working age people worldwide is skyrocketing. Here in America, it was up 40% during the third and fourth quarters of 2021. Our next guest contends a 10% jump would have been a 1 in 200 year event, but this was 40%. Edward Dowd is a founding partner of Finance Technologies and author of the new book, Cause Unknown: The Epidemic of Sudden Deaths in 2021 and 2022. Okay, Edward, most people would respond to this sudden death news and say the statistics jumped 40% because of COVID-19. What do you say?
Yeah, so in 2020, it was mostly old folks who died of COVID with comorbidities. Then there was a sudden mix shift in 2021 and 22 and continues in 23. And in 2021, the whole industry experienced 40% excess death in ages 25 through 64. The millennials 25 through 44 were hard hit particularly. The group life policyholders generally die at 1/3 the rate of the general U.S. population in any given year. And in 2021, I just said they had 40% excess death. The general U.S. population had 32% excess death.
Well, it seems like, tell us about some of these unexpected sudden deaths. It seems like there are a lot of them. I mean, just from a Google search, you can find like a lot of 12, 14, 16, 18-year-olds that are just dropping dead suddenly. Tell us more.
Right. And in my book, I talk about sudden death, and we look at the sudden deaths of athletes, which, you know, did it happen before 21? It did. There was a study in 2006 by the Lausanne Institute in Switzerland that showed over the course of 38 years, they found 1,101 sudden athletic deaths, which is about 29 a year globally. We'd be lucky to have a month with just 29 since 2021. In my book alone, there's hundreds and hundreds of examples. So something's changed. I obviously blame the vaccine because that's what's changed and mandates. And, you know, the naysayers will tell me it's COVID, long COVID. Well, if that's the case, why did it not affect the young in 2020? And so we have a health problem, a national health crisis, and at the very least, it should be examined and discussed openly. Unfortunately, the vaccine is a taboo subject.
There's been an unprecedented rise in the deaths of young people in the last few years. Also, mass censorship of outspoken critics of the pharmaceutical industry. I should know, I'm one of them. But is there any connection between these two things? Deaths of young people, mass censorship. Let's have a look. These forces of tyranny and deception that would have us believe that there are just unexplained, unexpected deaths just sort of happening. At least that's how Channel 4 report on the phenomena. As you know, Channel 4 were one of the main media outlets working together on the attacks against me. Well, it seems they're less intrepid when they're covering the important subject of the sudden rise of deaths in young people. We'll be showing a bit of that footage, as well as further evidence that Moderna were surveilling, censoring, monitoring and controlling content I was making about Big Pharma. I'm not suggesting there's a connection between the legacy media and the Big Pharma, although their financial relationships might lead you to think that there definitely is. Let me present facts in a peculiar, obfuscating, distracting way. What's brilliant about this is if you look at the comments under this video, no one is buying it at all. Now, of course, this being about the deaths of young people, it does center on actual human beings, and in some cases they are young people that had underlying heart conditions, and it's possible, of course, that their deaths had nothing to do with events of the last couple of years. I'm certainly not in a position to declare that there definitely was, and I'm certainly too sensitive to the family members left behind grieving. Unfortunately, there'll be very many of them to suggest that anything other than what they feel about the death of their loved ones is the truth. But what we're going to be covering in this video is the inability of the legacy media to cover things, for example, like the 8% rise in excess deaths in children in the last couple of years. What could that be? Let me know in the chat and the comments. And the fact that Big Pharma are spying on, censoring, controlling and shutting down critics of their products. It seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Let's get into it.
Clarissa Nichols was studying languages at Cambridge University. She embarked on a hiking trip on the Maybank holiday this year.
And obviously had something that she must have felt, presumably in her heart, and she fell back into her friend's arms.
Now, obviously, that is a tragic death. Now, where I encountered this clip, like many of you, was on YouTube, where the comments underneath it are all unanimous in what area in particular ought be inquired into. You will have seen the footage of many athletes spontaneously collapsing and in some cases dying. Here's just a few of those. Now, in this case, it may be due to the fact that Clarissa didn't receive adequate or early enough screening. Perhaps Channel 4 discovered a legitimate surprise death. However, statistically, there are thousands of unexplained excess deaths among children, young people, people between 30 and 40, people that would not have been expected to die. Let me know what happened in the last couple of years, and let's work out together if there's any connection in the rise of unexpected deaths and the rise of censorship around debate, even true information around certain pharmacological interventionist products.
I would say of young people under the age of 35, if I was to say how many die suddenly, I'd say 20 per week would be my estimate.
So potentially almost twice as many as currently being estimated?
Yes, that would be my estimate from talking to people and families throughout the country who say, well, the case was never referred to you or never referred for an expert cardiac opinion.
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau blasted the invitation of Nazi-linked veteran Yaroslav Hunka to Canada's Parliament Friday, where he was met with a standing ovation. Here's what he told reporters yesterday.
Obviously, it's extremely upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and, by extension, to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. It's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine, as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
Joining me now is Mike Millian. He's the president of the Private Motor Truck Council of Canada, and Evan Balgord is the executive director of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. Thanks to both of you for being here. I want to bring Evan into this conversation. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you know about some of these specific groups who have been involved in this protest?
Unfortunately, the issue Mike raised about the cross-border mandate has entirely been lost now because the far right grabbed onto the idea, stole it, and have now associated it with extremism. And our Jeremy McKenzie, his slogan is "gun or rope," the death threat to his critics. So we have not just a couple bad apples involved here, but the organizers themselves and some of the loudest spokespeople for this rally are bad apples. And all of the bad apples that we monitor in Canada, because they are members of hate groups and so on and so forth, have come to support this rally. So that's the big issue here.
Exactly, we're dealing with in some of these groups. Is it enough to say, we denounce this rhetoric, we don't agree with these far-right extremists and racists, or is it time for that protest, if they really do want to have that conversation, to physically separate themselves and say, we're going to go somewhere else because we just don't want to be in the same space or even in the same sentence as these folks?
We are meeting at the battle, the same ground where you poured out. You are doing something greater. It is coming, it is now. So here we are in the Northlands, with our eyes set on your gaze. Canada will see revival, and it's flowing from this place. We are standing at the battle line. This is our anthem. This is our cry to see revival in the nation's free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard. Oh, for thee we are standing at the battle line. This is our anthem. This is our cry to see revival, the nation's free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard. Ruler supreme, oh, hear our prayer. Hold our dominion in your care. Oh, and let us be, oh God, to thee a rich reward for the nations to see. Ruler supreme, oh, hear our prayer. Hold our dominion in your care. Oh, let us be, oh God, in thee a rich reward for the nations to see. So the seeds that have been planted in the soil of this land, every child that is living, you will walk with hand in hand. Every color, every nation, every tribe and every tongue. They will bow their knees before you as your daughters and your sons. Oh, we believe it, we prophesy. Oh, that the seeds that have been planted in the soil of this land, every child that is living, you're gonna walk with hand in hand. Oh, every color, every nation, every tribe and every tongue, they will bow their knees before you as your daughters and your sons. We are standing at the battle line. This is our anthem. This is our cry. Want to see revival in the nations free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, we are standing at the battle line. This is our anthem. This is our cry. Want to see revival in the nations free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
It was a hard decision to take. We took it very seriously after a lot of hard work, after a lot of careful deliberation. We were convinced at the time, I was convinced at the time, it was the right thing to do. It was the necessary thing to do.
Of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
In-Q-Tel Records proudly presents head of the World Economic Forum and international recording artist Klaus Schwab. Now you can listen to Klaus's golden tones anytime you like with this huge double album, The Essential Schwab.
So you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk.
Once Klaus sings a song, it's eternally his. This incredible collection is jam-packed with 33 classic hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Man, tyrannical world government never sounded so sweet. Ready for the best part? The second record is packed exclusively with all your favorite holiday songs.
I just want you for my own. More than you could ever know. Make my wish come true.
Say goodbye to lonely holiday lockdowns with 88 minutes of the sweetest sounds you've ever heard.
All I want for Christmas is you, world government.
This 2-album set makes a great holiday gift for all the useless eaters on your list. And the record jackets are made of combustible cardboard, just in case you need to burn them for heat this winter. Supplies are limited, so act now and order this incredible double album today.
Distributed by In-Q-Tel, the best kept secret in records.
You're under arrest for assault. Why are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault.
Whether you're a fan of David Menzies or not, it's hard to believe he was arrested after watching this video seen by millions. It all started with a simple and relevant question.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group?
Outside the memorial, the drama continued.
I was just scrumming Christian Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge number?
Assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
Another man began providing some kind of explanation to Menzies.
You were almost pushing everybody over. Lincoln, you got this on video, right? He's saying I'm pushing people over. Yeah, that's an absolute falsehood.
There were feet were shuffling.
So now it appeared that way. That's what you're saying, officer? It appeared I was pushing people. I didn't touch a single person.
That was a little bit aggressive for what was happening. Get that. You're under arrest. Please take the microphone out of my face.
Well, this is now a trumped-up charge of assault, folks. I didn't come here to cause any trouble. I came here to do my job, and now I'm handcuffed. This is your Canada now, folks. I just came here to ask questions.
You're going to have to back up a little bit, okay? They're conducting an
That's my cameraman, sir. He's not doing anything.
Conservative MP Anna Roberts writing the same reporter questioned me at the same event, and I didn't need him to be arrested. While Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre reposted the video with the message, "This is the state of freedom of the press in Canada in 2024, after 8 years of Trudeau."
Breaking my heart. This is peace, love, and happiness.
Hold the line! Here comes the horses. Behind the horses are coming. Hey, stand down! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look what you did! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! Shame on you! Shame on every one of you! Shame on you! She had a walker and she just got crushed! They just trampled a lady with a walker! Shame on you guys! Shame on you! What are you doing? Stay peaceful! Shame on you guys! You just trampled a walker!
So we are aware of the court decision. We have discussed it with the Prime Minister, with cabinet colleagues, with senior federal government officials and experts. We respect very much Canada's independent judiciary. However, we do not agree with this decision, and respectfully, we will be appealing it. I would just like to take a moment to remind Canadians of how serious the situation was in our country when we took that decision. The public safety of Canadians was under threat. Our national security, which includes our national economic security, was under threat. As I said in my opening remarks, we faced, as a country and as a government, an incredibly serious threat. A threat to the public safety of many Canadians, a threat to our national security, including our national economic security. We acted to secure and protect Canada and to secure and protect the national interest. It was not an easy time. These were not easy decisions. In making our decisions, in choosing to act, we worked very, very hard with all levels of government, and we were were very mindful of acting in such a way that the safety, the physical safety of all Canadians involved would be preserved. I don't want to minimize the gravity of the actions we took. Neither do I want to minimize the gravity of the threat Canada faced. The fact that we took these decisions with a heavy heart. This was not a situation we wanted to find ourselves in. And these were not actions we took with any satisfaction or relish. This was, however, and I want people to remember that, an extremely tense time. The safety of individual Canadians was under real threat, as Minister LeBlanc has pointed out. Our national security was under real threat. Our national security, including our economic security. That was the reality of that moment. We explored many avenues to bring this to an end.
Canada is so mismanaged that perhaps Freeland should be named Mismanagement of Canada. You know, beauty pageant, mismanagement. Yeah, because, you know, she doesn't know anything about economy or whatever. She's a tool of the Soros, of the WEF, of Bill Gates, you know, the far controlling crowd. I can't even say if they're left wing or right wing. That doesn't take precedence anymore. They are their wing. They are caring about themselves. They want to run the world, run it into the friggin' ground, I say. But it's happening, and it's accelerating in Canada, around the world. And the only way to get out from under this is to reimagine a new system of governance. I mean, think about it, folks. You know, we're still looking back at the last couple of years about what happened and why people are dropping like flies. But there's new stuff that is going to be dumped on you, you know, with the green things. I can't even say greening or CO2, whatever. I got stuff on that too, because we're being lied to. Every chance the government has, it lies to the little people while it embraces the wealthy. You know, the ones that went to Davos in their private jets. You know why they did that? Because they can. Because they have the private jets. Something that we will never have. Yet, our taxes support them emming friggers, you know? Oh, man. I got a lot more. I'm really pissed off. By the way, this video was supposed to be uploaded yesterday, but I ran into a series of issues with the computer and the Vegas Pro software. So, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think, and let's go forward.